Okay, so there's a few other things that I'm going to work on today other than the meatloaf that I've already got in the oven. And that is meal prep or food prep for the rest of the week, or at least to get me going for the week. Now, this right here, I was actually just kind of ragging on the knives from this brand, this the Beautiful brand from Walmart, but I do actually like this little girl here. I don't know if you can see it or not. Probably not. I got to move this camera. So this is the, like I said, it's the Beautiful. So I don't know if you, I used to have a, what do you call it? A Blackstone, the tabletop Blackstone. I think it was a 22-inch, and it had the 2 burners and the lid, and I loved it. I love our Blackstone, but I left it in Texas with Rich. He absolutely loves it too, and I didn't want to take that from him. And so I got this guy. It has a little tray for putting in the, the grease, and it has this little splash shield that you can put on it. This is not, I'm not sponsored or anything like that. This one's okay. I kind of like this. Now I have this leftover bacon that I'm going to just put on here, and I'm going to put gloves on. And normally I don't care about that. I'm not grossed out by putting my hands in meat or anything, but I have some cuts on my fingers, and I just want to make sure that everything stays sanitary. So that's why I'm doing it. It's not because I have any kind of aversion to touching meat. I don't. Also, my next thing that I'm going to do right after this, after the bacon, is this. I don't know if you guys know what this is. It's, what is that called? Shabu shabu. But I'm actually going to use this to make beef jerky in my janky old dehydrator over here. Because as long as I have beef jerky or bacon or things like that in my refrigerator, it becomes very easy for me to snack on that instead of any of the kids' snacks that they have here that I shouldn't be eating. So that's the other thing I'm going to work on today.
You told me there'd be better days and nothing that can pull us under.
So this, I'm not going to season or do anything except a little salt on this meat. But this is just my cheap dehydrator. It would work a lot better if I could do this in a bigger one or more like an industrial one. But I do like this one because you can change the temp to like whatever you want, and you can also do the time. Like, do you want 9 hours or whatever? And then it'll just start and it just goes that long. This will probably take longer than that. I'll probably have to come back in and change it. As you see, the bacon is getting very, very crispy. Now, granted, this isn't very many pieces of bacon. This is just a few pieces that were left when I did the bacon on the meatloaf. But since I always like to eat bacon, it never goes to waste. I generally like my bacon to be pretty crispy. I mean, that's pretty crispy right there. There's a couple pieces that are not, but that's how my boy likes it. So, yeah, bacon. I'll let that cool, and then it's going to go in the refrigerator along with my other bacon. I also buy, I don't know, I probably showed this before, but I buy this kind of bacon a lot, and then I cook up a lot of bacon. So I'm going to do a couple other things for meal prep this week. Sorry, I'm holding the camera right now. But if you've been watching anything that you know, then that I fell off the wagon big time over Christmas. And then for basically the entire month of January so far, I haven't been back on Carnivore full. And I'm sorry, these are like brand new glasses. You guys, are these horrible? Or, I mean, are they horrible? This thing in the bridge of my other glasses broke, but these drive me nuts. And every time I look, I'm like, oh God, those are horrible. Anyways, I'm going to do, this is ground meat that I'd actually gotten over the summer, and I vacuum sealed it in freezer bags and froze it. So I have a couple packages of this. I'm going to go ahead and fry up because I need to get that, cycled through my freezer. And I believe those are the last two from the summer. I'm going to go ahead and fry those up and put them in containers in the refrigerator. And then also, when I got that this hamburger meat that I'm currently been using to try out, I got it from a local farm, a local butcher, and I also got this big, huge, what is this called? Beef round roast. And I'm gonna thaw this guy out, and he's gonna go in the crock pot. I was thinking about doing them in the pressure cooker, but pressure cookers are just kind of a little, I mean, I used to use them as a vegan for my potatoes, and I do still use it for my hard-boiled eggs, but sometimes they still scare me. Anyways, I'm going to also cook this up. So I'm going to have a little bit of bacon. Well, I always have bacon. I have eggs. I have the beef jerky that's I'm making right now for snacks. I'm going to hard boil some eggs, which we'll do that in a little bit so that I have some hard boiled eggs. I'm going to do the ground beef, and it's going to be cooked in the refrigerator in containers. And like I said, I have the bacon. And then we're also going to do some of my brown butter bites. So I usually keep these little brown butter bites in the freezer or the refrigerator. It doesn't matter, but you can keep either way. But I make in these little molds, and then, it's just like toffee. Sorry, nom nom nom, in your face while I'm talking. But if I'm feeling like snacky or something like that, I'll go ahead and just eat one of those, and they're really good. Also to help get a little bit of extra fat in. And then sometimes I'll do like really thin, slivery ones, and I'll put them in my cup of coffee. That's Ting Ting, and I gave him some catnip. Oh, ting-a-ring-a-ring. Okay, the next thing we're going to work on is butter bites. And I just rinsed all these out really good just because, they get, sometimes I keep them stored in like a pantry area downstairs, and so they get a little dusty. But we're going to work on my brown butter bites over here. Okay, so this will be the next thing that we're going to do. These brown butter bites are super easy. They literally you're just gonna get your, I always use this one burner. I don't know why, it's like my favorite. Oh, geez, I always use this one burner. And this one is salted. And I usually prefer to make my butter bites with unsalted butter, but this is what I have right here. So I'm just gonna start putting these guys in here.
You told me there'd be better days.
So what I do is I'm gonna let this melt first. It needs to kind of get melted down, but then once that happens, you have to stand here and watch it pretty closely. So it's really starting to get melted down there. And then, they're just so easy. It's literally, there's a sweet spot though. You have to, once it starts to get brown, I'm always playing a little game of Russian roulette here because I want it to get like brown, as the name, brown butter, but you don't want it to burn. And I have burnt it, and I still ate it. I didn't burn it like, really horribly, but enough that it definitely tasted different. So you really want to watch it at a certain point. Now you just have to keep just constantly stirring this, scraping the sides, scraping the bottom, because what's going to happen is that the milk fats in it, they're going to start to basically burn or brown, and you don't want it to go too far. And it's going to foam like this, and then the foam will kind of, go down a little bit, and then it starts to foam again. But you can already see the color through this foam is starting to get a little bit more richer. Instead of that pale yellow, it's more of a deeper yellow.
You told me there'd be better days, and nothing that can pull us under. You wanna take the pain away, but know that I was born as a fighter. We fade, but we're better than that. We're better than that. I know, you know.
So it's important to put your flexi thing on a tray, because when you try to lift this up with hot butter, it is no bueno. So So this is my brown butter. And again, it's very brown. I also stir it up really good to get all of the goodies on the bottom. And then this is a tablespoon. I have done 2 tablespoons before. It's a little bit too much. So I just do 1 tablespoon. It doesn't fill up the little gingerbread men completely, but it does fill them decently full.
There are other ways and other reasons, but only one that cuts to pieces. So why we trying to hide from trust? We could just leave.
You don't want to lose any of those delicious bits. But again, that's why I usually do 3, because it is about the perfect amount for my bites. And then these guys, you can put them in the refrigerator or the freezer. I don't have any room in my freezer because it's packed. So these are gonna go sit in the refrigerator. Now, this is still not cooked all yet because, I still see some red in there. But even when it does cook, I'm going to cook it until it starts to almost get crispy in places. That's how I like my brown meat. Okay, so this is looking pretty good. Sometimes I'll go even longer than this. Like this is looking, like it's starting to get some spots where it's really crispy. And like I said, a lot of times I'll cook this even longer. But since I'm kind of thinking that I might heat it up in a pan with some butter at the time that I am going to cook it or use it, I think I'll let it go right here. I'm going to leave this pan here with all this grease and all this butter and stuff that's still in here because I need to sear the edges for my pot roast that needs to go in. And it probably should have gone in a little bit earlier today, but I got busy. I'm gonna go ahead and use a little ghee because there's not quite enough in there.
Hardest thing to do. Did it all for you. Hardest thing to do. Did it all for you. Hardest thing to do. Did it all for you.
So I'm just gonna put this hot water in with this powder dough and make a mess while I do it. And then I'm gonna actually whisk it up and look, this is, okay, I'm gonna have to use my hands. This thing's heavy.
Will never be enough for you. No shed a tear or two.
Okay, this bad boy is heavy. Now I think I'm gonna be able to lift it up with just these tongs. So alrighty. You can see she's in here with the bone broth. She's already here heating up and she's gonna cook most of the day. I'm hoping that I'll be able to film when she comes out. And here are they're gonna sit here until they completely cool. But this is my meatloaf and this is my hamburger. So they're all gonna sit here and be ready to go in the refrigerator. So this first batch of the beef jerky is done. I had got some grease along the side of it. So what I'm going to actually do is set it on a plate and put a little bit of salt on it and then kind of dab some of the grease off of it. And then I'm going to put it in a bag in the refrigerator. It's very greasy, but it's perfect. And it didn't take all day at all.
That's amazing.
It's good. And let me actually turn this up so you can see me. I will do I gotta clean, it's a mess because I did all this meal prep. This pot roast, I'm probably not going to get this finished in this video because it's going to go for a while. It was still partially frozen when I put it in there. I will make a couple more batches of this beef jerky and clean up this messy kitchen. And then I'm going to do the hard-boiled eggs real quick because that was the last thing that I had to do on my meal prep. So that gives me beef jerky for a snack. I'll have some hard-boiled eggs for a snack or just to have. Excuse me, I was getting that beef jerky. I will have 3 containers of the bacon meatloaf, which, to be honest with you, those might actually get eaten tonight. Well, for dinner, because one of my boys is going to eat that for sure. And then I also have 3 containers, a fair size amount of ground beef. I still have bacon from this morning, and then I have the frozen bacon still in there, as well as I buy the big boxes of eggs. I go through a lot of eggs. I think that with all of this and then the pot roast when it finishes, I'm actually going to have a really good just for dinner all during this coming week. If you remember, like I said, I fell off the wagon in December and through into January and only just recently got back on it. And one of the things that worked really well for me in the past was meal prep. It was just key. That way, oh, and I did butter bites. See, that's my ADD. But that's one of the things that worked really well for me. If I had the food and it was already ready, then that's what I would grab and eat. And I'm really struggling this time around because if I have to cook it, I don't want to cook it. I'm struggling with that. It seems almost like the second time is worse than the first. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and put the eggs in and film that so you guys can see that. And then that's, I do in the Instapot for 5 minutes. So it takes 5 minutes to come to pressure. It cooks for 5 minutes. I let it release the steam for 5 minutes and then I'll put it in an ice bath. And that's so that I can peel them very easily. And then I guess I'll just go ahead and show you everything that's finished at that point.
Hardest thing to do. Did it all for you. Hardest thing to do. Did it all for you. Hardest thing to do. Did it all for you.
Okay, so this is a giant, I have a giant mess out here. I have dishes out the yin yang. But again, I would normally maybe do this on a Sunday. But my grandbaby's coming over tonight and he's going to stay the night. So I wanted to get all this done for the week. That way I can spend time with him and you know, not have to worry about tomorrow. So in these containers, they are all completely cooled. These are all some meatloaf. I have 3 containers of meatloaf that has 2 to 3 pieces in each one. Like I said, more than likely, this isn't going to make it for the night. Yes, there's a little bit of steam or condensation on it. I don't care. I'm still going to eat it. This is hamburger. I have 3 things of hamburger. Again, there's condensation on the lids. I don't care. It's because I set the lid on it when they were hot. It doesn't matter to me. This is the first batch of beef jerky that I made. I'm going to do another batch here soon, as soon as the Instapot is done. And this will be a quick and easy snack. I have the bacon that I did earlier, as well as this bacon. And finally, I have these brown butter bites. Uh-oh, I broke the guy's little arm off. Anyways, you remember how dark it looked, right? You remember how turned out perfect. Absolutely perfect. It tastes like toffee. Carnivore candy. And I did go through a fair amount of them because I made these last time and these are all that's left. So and this is one that's not like, you know, broke, but it looked really dark, but It wasn't. And I like to push it because I really like that darkness. So, but yeah, this is my meal prep. This is my, how I'm going to be successful this week. When the eggs are done, I'll go ahead and film what I do with that. And then that's it. That's my meal prep. This is, like I said, this is what's going to get me through for the next week. Maybe a little bit more because I won't go through all these butter bites in a week. But this is kind of what I need to do to be successful. Like I keep saying, I've repeated more than once, I fell off the wagon in a huge way. I haven't been out eating salads or anything like that, but I've been eating stuff that I'm not supposed to, and a lot of it. I also haven't been paying attention to how much of other things that I'm eating that I shouldn't. So this is my way of getting back on track. It's not really a triple B and E, but it's, you know, kind of, well, actually it kind of is, really, now that I think about it. And this is how I'm going to be successful. So the very last thing that I actually am going to do in my meal prep is the eggs. And they are finished in the pressure cooker over here. I just need to make sure the rest of the steam is released, and then I'm going to put them over here in this thing of ice water. And then once that's done, they're going to just cool off a little bit, and then I'll dry them off, and I'm actually going to put them in the refrigerator. I don't peel them, although I can peel them and just keep them in a bag in the refrigerator as well. But usually I just throw them in there all together as they are, and they've always come out quite well for me. And so I'll just put them in this ice water. Like I said, this for me is the fastest, easiest way to peel eggs, is to steam them in the Instapot like this and burn all of my fingies here. These guys are just going to sit in here and cool off, and once they're completely cool, then I'm going to dry them all off, put them in a bag or something, and put them in the refrigerator, and then I'm done. That's my meal prep. I'm done for this coming week. Now I have to clean up this huge mess in this kitchen and get everything situated. Again, like I told you, I probably won't be filming this guy, even though he is in here and he'll be ready kind of late tonight. And I kind of wanted to get this wrapped up. So I hope this was helpful. I hope that you kind of got an idea of what it is that I do to be successful and how I'm going to prevent myself from relapsing any worse than I already did. And you can see I am no great cook. I didn't really cook as a vegan. I steamed potatoes and made some rice and, you know, things like that, but I just really didn't cook. So this is my process, and like I said, I hope that you possibly got something from this. I hope that if you are new here, you might consider subscribing and liking, sharing, following, you know, that whole schmeal. And if you are not new here, once again, thank you so much for being here and supporting me and encouraging me to continue. And when I make mistakes, you're right there to lift me back up, and I appreciate you all so much, more than you know. Anyways, I don't want to make this is a very long video as it is, so I just want to tell you how much I appreciate you. I love you all, and until next time, eat your meat.